Hello, Boss Babe Tribe, and welcome to our first Babe Talk. Today, we are going to be talking about all things Instagram, especially focusing on influencers and how influencers monetize through Instagram. Now, you probably see people with, I don't know, anywhere from a few thousand followers to 100,000 followers, and there are definitely, I would say, levels, Christina, right, of like success or influencers. But what typically is considered an influencer, like you have made it, is when you reach about 10,000 followers. As you go up in ranks, I would say there's different, I don't know, like perks, right, that these influencers would get. And there are ways you can monetize, ways that you can get free products, and who doesn't love that? So we want to teach you what separates kind of like these fake influencers and people who are actually real influencers monetizing and building up their business or just their own brand. So Christina, what would you say to look for when people are fake or really not like the authentic influencer?
Looking at engagement is the most important thing, because you can go to someone's profile and they might have, 1,000 or 100,000 Instagram followers, but if you look at the engagement and they have, let's say, 5,000 likes but 2 comments, it's probably, I would say that they bought followers, they bought likes, but their comments are not up to par with that. They should be having, a lot of comments. So that's how you would find if like someone's, I guess, a fake influencer. And there's a lot of them out there, because when you become an influencer, you can get free products, you can monetize through shout outs and different things like that. So then companies are sending their products for free plus paying for shout outs, assuming that these accounts have a lot of followers in their market, and a lot of times they actually don't.
Right. And so you have to be careful with that, because one thing that I always, when we're talking to our clients, is they're thinking, oh, 100,000 followers or 50,000 followers equals legitimacy. And it's like actually not always, because some of that means that they're purchased and bought, which at the end of the day, what is that for? That's always my question. I'm like, is it just to inflate their ego to be like, I have 20,000 followers? But if you're not able to monetize and they're not real people, then to me, I'm like, what is it for? And so I know with Christina and I with Boss Babe Tribe, we're so passionate about creating like real engagement and a real following so that you can make money or bring your mission to people and not, and this is one thing too, like, Mr. Habib in India, who's like working and getting paid to follow people. Like we want people who are in your niche market. And I think that's really important too, because as an influencer, if you're trying to build your business or your brand, you want to influence to the right people. So Christina, what would you say too, like when you're finding your niche market, what are some ways people are trying to make sure you're engaging with the right people?
Okay, wait. So how to engage with the right people?
Yeah. So like if like we're looking to, let's say you're posting, right? And we know this, we know what it's like to post quotes, right? And what quotes do for accounts. If you're looking for people who are like, they need the motivation, you're looking for the hustlers. We like on Boss Babe Tribe, we have some women who hustle, but it's because we're projecting on our Instagram, like, so much motivation and sometimes a little sass here and there. And that's why we're connecting to that market, those women who are empowered. But if you're like, oh, I'm looking for those powerful women, but you're posting like woe is me quotes or like not great posts that aren't, like high converting to like getting comments and stuff, you're not going to attract those high achieving entrepreneurs. I mean, does that make
Yeah, got you. So I always teach on this, like, let's say with Boss Babe Tribe, we have this quotes account, and then all of a sudden, what if we started posting, pictures of cars and talking about cars? It's not gonna, like, our engagement is gonna drop significantly,
right?
because nobody followed us for that. So if
Right.
you're setting up, like, that's why having that target focus on what your account is about, like, you want to make sure when you start your account, this is what the focus is. So if your focus is to post, let's say, love quotes all the time and relationship quotes, you probably wouldn't start posting, like food pictures or whatnot. So it's just getting really zoned in. And then also to go back about the engagement, and like why people buy fake followers and whatnot, they're trying to look like they are legit. But at the end of the day, even accounts that are just like, oh, I'm trying so hard to grow, and they're trying to grow in the right ways. And a lot of times they will fall into, oh, I think I'll just buy 2,000 followers or some likes and stuff, and this is going to give me this little boost. Well, the problem with that is Instagram changed their algorithm over a year ago. And so now it's like, it's not in chronological order anymore, which we all know. So it really is like who's going to be involved in our pictures and like what we post and whatnot. So when you buy fake followers, it changes the algorithm completely, because if your engagement is not up to par with the amount of followers that you have, it just significantly changes that algorithm. And in the end, it ends up like kind of, not working out the way that most people think it's going to work out. So that's just like kind of a warning with that, because a lot of people think it's not a big deal. Like they're like, oh, I'm not buying 100,000 followers, I'm just buying a couple thousand followers. And it's like, no, it's actually just not going to work that way.
Right. And I think as an influencer too, if you're trying to influence, you want people to be real. Otherwise, who are you really influencing? So even when you guys you find your market, you're like, this is what if I'm going to be posting about cars, then post about cars. If you're going to be posting about motivation, then post about that, because when you start detouring, you're going to lose followers too. And so we talk to our clients about this, is like, there's another portion of when you're trying to grow, and that is like taking emotion out, in the sense of, don't be so controlling over like, oh my gosh, this person is following me and I don't know this person. And it's like, well, if you're trying to influence, you got to keep your perspective broad. So we've had clients say like, oh, so do I have to take my account off private? And we're like, okay, if you want to be an influencer and you want to monetize, like, this is not the account to be connecting with Aunt Peggy, and to be connecting with a bunch of people that are your warm market or people that you know. If you want this private account, cool. And we tell our clients that, like, have a private account that you can post a bunch of like your kid's soccer team or like your date with your boyfriend or whatever you're doing. That's cool. But when you're an influencer, yeah, they can get to know you. You can post things through stories, but your feed is going to be very much whatever market that you are trying to target. And you can't get like overwhelmed or control freak, of like, oh, well, again, Mr. Habib from India just liked my picture, I don't know him. It's like, you can't control everything in Instagram. And that's a place where you kind of have to release and be like, if I'm going to be an influencer, I have to be okay with my account being open, with my account allowing various types of people that maybe aren't in my niche market. You're going to target it. But again, anyone can follow you.
Yep. Exactly. And also, like, going back to monetizing, I don't think most people understand how much you really can monetize on social media. And the whole thing that ever like got me into Instagram and trying to figure out how to grow platforms and whatnot was I had messaged like someone that had, I would say, between 100,000 and 300,000 followers at the time. She now has over 2 million followers.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And I asked her, how much is a shout out? Just like a promotional post. And her response was, it's $700 for either 24 hours or for 1 hour. I can't remember which, but the point is it was not a forever post. And I was like, wow, $700 just to post. And like, she was getting that all the time. You could tell because she was constantly getting products sent to her, and then she was monetizing on it. So obviously, the further you get up in, rank, the, like, you can start charging for a paid post. In the beginning, it's usually more a free product in exchange for posting. And then as you further, up that rank, you can start charging money for posting plus get the free products. So that's really what made me realize that, wow, people are getting paid to travel. People are getting paid to just show up at a hotel. People are getting paid to just be at a party. Like, people are getting paid to wear like beautiful shoes that you would want to buy anyways. So yeah, that's just like, there's so many ways to monetize that most people do not realize.
And I think too, what Christina was saying is like, okay, so you may find someone who has a really high following, right? And you're like, oh, cool. Like, maybe I can get a shout out, but make sure that that person has the same niche market as you. So we've seen this before too, as we had someone who was like, oh, we can shout you guys out. And we're like, oh, we don't really care. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like, we have a lot of followers. And we're like, okay, awesome. And we have a complete different market. Like, there was nothing that came out of it. This person had over like 600,000 followers, but we knew, we're like, this is not our market. We're not, it's not that we're going to jump for joy because our market isn't what this Instagram following was. And so you have to be very careful. Like we would have never paid for that shout out because we're like, we're not going to pay for that. That's not our market at all. And we have people who want to be shouted out through us. And so you really have to be careful with who you're connecting with. And just because they have a legitimate, high engaging Instagram, if it's not your market, honestly, you could be just wasting your money and your time. Another way we're seeing too is huge with MLMs. So multi-level marketing leaders, if you're other, entrepreneur, you have an MLM, using Instagram in a way that is not, and we talk about this, like spammy, like you're taking whatever corporate has sent you and just blasting it on your Instagram. Like you're looking like every other person. So that's why Christine and I pride ourselves with Boss Babe Tribe with branding, exposure, and value. Because if you don't have those three, you're not going to get the engagement. You're not going to be able to monetize. We talked about influencing and how important that is. But if you're trying to make the money, you have to make sure you have a brand, even if you're an MLM. That doesn't mean that you just write off the coattail of that MLM's brand. You need to create something of your own and then bring it out. So we have some really great examples we'll be releasing and sharing with you guys. Follow us even on Boss Babe Tribe. We shout out a lot of our clients too. But we have one in particular right now. She is just working with her entire team and literally having a movement. And part of this movement, they don't even share the name of their MLM, but you are attracted to them because it's attraction marketing. They're influencers and they're using their brand to monetize and they're bringing value. So you can't expect people to think, oh, this is a great Instagram and they're giving me so much value when 5 other people have the same picture and post from corporate. Like you've got to go against the grain, right? You've got to think beyond what everyone else is doing. And it's pretty common right now. Almost everyone else is in an MLM, but the ones who are really successful are the ones that are branching out. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, branding within a brand is so important. And that is the thing, that Instagram is actually an untapped market for doing MLM right.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's doing the same thing. They're sending the same scripts. They're doing all these things the same. And it's just kind of like the ones that actually like branch out and brand really well are the ones who are having amazing success. They're the ones who are signing up 5 to 10 new, marketers per month. And I mean, we have a client who's doing just that. Like we just got that feedback. So, but she's doing exactly what we teach. And, so branding within a brand, absolutely so important.
Yeah. And I think too, our most successful clients are the ones who like give up that control. And we know how hard that is, but to say like, okay, you guys have done it. Like Boss Babe Tribe has grown significantly in a short amount of time. And it's influencing hundreds of thousands of people. And so we literally teach exactly the exact methods to our clients. The ones who don't exactly implement everything, because we can't force them, they're not as successful. But we're watching this team who is, there's a variety of different women. The women who are on this team following everything that Christine and I are telling them, their engagement, their following, they're really building a brand that is unlike anyone else. So not that we know everything, but we will say that this untapped market with Instagram, this is something that not only are we passionate about, but we have learned the do's and don'ts, the algorithms, the things that you want to stay away from, because it is a market that has been, I mean, you have to say, it's finicky. Like it is like 1 year, like last year you said the algorithm was one way and then it changes and people are wondering, oh, I can't even monetize on Instagram. It's like, well, you can, you just have to learn. And I think it takes that time, the learning curve to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time where you can, partner with women like us.
Yes.
A lot of time.
Yeah, and with that, Christine and I, like one of our missions too, like we both know whether you're brand new in being any type of boss babe or you are seasoned, we want to make sure that we cater to all different type of women. So with that, if you guys are ever in a space that you're like, I'm ready to take my business to the next level, we have self-study courses that are on our bossbabebible.com right now. You guys can go and check those out. They are great priced. We're intentional about pricing these. And we also do payment plans because we're like, if you're brand new, but you're like, I want to do this, I just don't have $5,000. That's okay. We want you still to be served. If you're on the higher end, or this is what I love is when there's young, ambitious, like I'm new to this, but I'm actually going to invest a lot. We're open to that too. We've worked with a range of different women. And so if you guys are interested in saying, I want to be an influencer, I want to take my business to the next level, I want to be branded, let us know. We'd love to chat with you guys. We're always open to calls to see if it's a good fit. We just had a few calls last week that weren't a good fit, and we're cool with that. Christina and I were talking like, it's probably a good thing that didn't work out, because we are the type, what someone just told us, like, I really like to be hands-on and in control. And I thought, awesome. I just don't think we're a good fit, right? Because you can have control. Absolutely. We're going to have you be part of this beautiful process, but you also have to be able to say, like, this is the area I don't know, which is why I'm working with you guys. Right, Christina? Because sometimes it's like, we know, like, we have to learn things too all the time in different areas of our life, and we have to release that control. It's not easy, but you got to do it.
Yeah. And I'm kind of a super control freak when it comes to stuff. And I was even told recently with someone that we were thinking about working with, and they were like, well, my only concern is that you're super ambitious and you like to have control, and you will have to trust us in this because this is our area of expertise, not yours. And I was like, okay. It's not like we're just saying this to our clients. We've been told it too. And so it just comes to that place where you just have to realize that, yeah, you know, they're the ones who put in all the effort to research this and to learn it and know the strategy. So we just have to trust it. So if we're partnering with this person, we're paying this person, we're going to have to trust that they know what they're doing.
Yep. And that's a part of releasing and making those calls, or just saying, like, I trust you guys, I'm going to do this. So making sure it's the right fit. So we're really excited. We want to keep giving our tribe more and more value for you guys, that just being a part of our tribe is we're honored. Like, we love you guys. We're encouraging each and every one of you, whatever place you're in, whether you're thinking about starting a business or you're thriving, we're with you. And we want to make sure that you guys feel supported by us, just by freebies. We've just released a really great freebie this past week from one of our ambassadors, Elisa, on failure, because we've all been there, right? But then also just making sure that we're having these chats and sharing some of the things we've learned, as well as when we have different promotions that are coming up too, because some of you guys are looking for that. You just need that, like, if it was only $100 less, or if it was this, I could do it. And we want to make sure we're meeting your guys' needs. So thank you for tuning in today, and we'll be chatting very soon. Take care, ladies. Bye.
Bye.